What's up, guys? It's Monday, January 4th, 2021. It's our first episode of 2021. And welcome back to episode 4 of the Nothing But Controversy podcast. This week, we're going to change it up a bit, have a couple different segments. And our main topic of discussion is going to be the NFL wildcard week. We just watched week 17 happen. All of our locks for betting hit last week, so that's good. And all the playoff matchups got set. So we'll start off with the wild card matchups. We know that Kansas City and Green Bay are not playing this weekend. They took care of business and got the one bye, the all-important bye for this year. And it's actually apparently called Super Wild Card Weekend.
I was going to say that too. I was going to say that, Super Wild Card.
Yeah. So we're going to start off. We're going to go in order of how the games are going to go by day, not by conference. So starting on Saturday, January 9th, 2021, the early game at 1:05 p.m., we've got Dawson's Indianapolis Colts at the Buffalo Bills. Shaner, give me your thoughts, bud.
I'm sorry to tell you this, Dawson, but I think the Bills are the only team that can compete with the Chiefs right now. I do like Indianapolis' defense. I think this is the best defense that Buffalo is going to play all year, or has played all year. But I Josh Allen's just playing too well right now, and I have zero faith in Phillip Rivers at all. I don't know. I don't like Phillip Rivers, but I'm taking Buffalo. I think it's going to be close. I think this might be the game of the weekend.
I'll take that. As much as I want to say my Colts are going to go on and play the Chiefs in 2 weeks from now, I think it's going to be a very tough matchup. I was hoping and praying that the Texans pulled it off and we got to play the Ravens because that's who our matchup would have been. But, we ended up with the Bills. It is what it is. I don't, my bias aside, I think this is going to be a win for the Bills. Their receiving core, just that combined with how Josh Allen has been playing, our DBs don't match up with that. We have Kenny Moore, who will play in the slot a little bit, and Xavier Howard, who played well this year. But other than that, not much to. And we're a huge, great run-stopping team, but the Bills, don't have that crazy of a run game. So the matchup offensively or defensively for the Colts isn't great. So that's why I'm struggling with it a little bit. If Jonathan Taylor can put up 253 yards and 2 tugs again, they have a shot. But, no, my pick for this week, unfortunately, is the Buffalo Bills. But I would not be surprised if the Colts pulled an upset.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I don't think I think it's a shame that Buffalo got the 7th seed in the AFC. I've been saying since we started this thing, the AFC is loaded. This is one of the strongest AFCs we've seen in a while. Obviously, Miami didn't get in at 10-6, so that just tells you what you need to know. It's a lot closer than the 2 seed versus the 7 seed, speaking. But, I do think Buffalo's offense looks like they're impossible to stop right now. I like the Colts defense. I'm not sure how strong that secondary is. But, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw an upset, but I'm not confident enough to take the Colts. I'm going to go with the Bills as well.
At this point, I don't think we have to say I wouldn't be surprised with an upset anymore because it is the playoffs. Everyone kind of deserves to be there. Mm-hmm. So you're a playoff team because you beat teams that won. You're better than most teams. I have Buffalo to win, unfortunately, for you, Dawson. And it sucks because I think the Colts are better than the Steelers, Titans, and Browns. Unfortunately, they got absolutely shafted by the Texans, and the Texans let A.J. Brown go down the sideline on one-on-one coverage. I don't understand that.
I don't get that either.
It's the same thing with the Jets. That makes no sense to me. But I think Josh Allen is playing at an MVP level. If they keep playing, I think they could seriously challenge the Chiefs for that AFC title. Mm-hmm. And it's crazy thinking about that because it was like the Chiefs were untouchable at the start of the year. I see a lot of flaws with the Chiefs going into the playoffs, and there's not a lot of teams that can beat them. To be fair, I think Buffalo is one, and there's a reason why they're the number 2 seed. I think Indianapolis is one of the best 7 seeds we've seen in a while, but in that game, I've got Buffalo to win. So let's move on to the 4:40 game on Saturday. and that's the Los Angeles Rams at the Seattle Seahawks. I'll start with this one. I've got Seattle to win. We did this game of the week a couple weeks ago. I had Seattle to win as well. I think the Rams are hurting right now. Regardless of the quarterback position, regardless of who's at quarterback, they can't score. They haven't been able to score. Their defense is playing well, to be fair. And that's what you need going into the playoffs. But I think the Seahawks defense is playing better. The Seahawks defense is maybe the hottest defense going into the playoffs. And that's crazy when you take into account how powerful their offense could be.
And also how bad the Seahawks defense was at one point,
it
too.
was pretty bad at the start. But to me, there's a couple ingredients you need for a deep playoff run. Good defense is one of them. They both have that. I think that the Seahawks offense is going to score more points than the Los Angeles Rams offense. And I think that's going to be the difference in the game.
And that's how you win
Isn't
games.
that how you win games?
Yeah, but I'm not into the whole Rams deal this year. I thought they were better a couple of years ago. I think they're all over the place right now, and regardless if Jared Goff's there or not, I'm not interested in seeing him win playoff games. So give me the Seahawks in that one.
Yeah, I'm with you too.
Yeah,
Go,
I've been
Cam.
riding with the Rams, but they didn't have an offensive touchdown yesterday. Still managed to win. Looked like Troy Hill was going to drop that pick at first. Very ugly game. Obviously, I thought Kyler was gonna be able to play the whole game. Obviously, after the first or second drive, he was out. So that was unfortunate. But I don't like what the Rams are doing right now. Their defense, I agree with you, look good, but John Wolford is not a playoff winning quarterback in my opinion. Just based off yesterday, couldn't really move the ball. We'll see though. I do agree though also that Seattle's defense looks really good right now. I think it's gonna be too much for the Rams.
Yeah, I'm going to keep mine short and sweet. I think no matter who's at quarterback for the Rams, this is going to be our blowout of the week. I think the Seahawks are going to, wipe away the Rams very heavily, I would say. So that's my pick for blowout of the week. I know we don't have that, but that's my pick.
I'm also taking Seattle. I don't know if it's going to be a blowout though. They did go 1-1 this year against each other. The Rams always play Seattle hard. Even when the Rams completely sucked, they always had a chance against Seahawks. It's a division rival game. Both teams are going to show out. But I am taking Seattle, but I think it's going to be a good game.
Listen, just Russ doesn't turn the ball over a lot. I think that'll be the difference. If they're scoring points on every drive or almost every drive and just like keeping the turnovers low, not giving the Rams a chance in good field position, it's going to be tough for the Rams to score.
All right, so moving on to the primetime Saturday game. We got the Tampa Bay Bucks visiting the Washington football team at 8:15. Cam, you go first.
I hate Washington. I don't think the NFC should have had a playoff spot regardless. I do not feel bad for the 6-10 Giants.
Me neither.
Aside from that, this playoff game, we'll see. I mean, Washington's front seven looks really good right now, especially their D-line. They're hitting the quarterback often and hard, not making it easy at all. I think that like we've heard that over and over again the last few years. Like that's the way to beat Brady is just put pressure in his face and whatever. I don't know what's going on with Mike Evans. He didn't come back yesterday, I don't think.
They're saying he's 80%, and Bruce Arians said a Mike Evans that's 80% is better than most people that are 100%. So
that's just true.
I don't disagree with him at all. It's a little bit concerning, but Brady's getting the ball out quick.
It's not like he's their only receiver.
That's just it. Antonio Brown's getting hot at the right time, so I got the Bucks.
Did you see that thing? Did you see that thing where Brady threw Brown like 3 shuffle passes with like a minute 30 left so that he could hit his $250,000 bonus?
Did you see David Moore on the Seahawks? There was 23 seconds left. They could have gone to victory formation. Instead, they threw a jet sweep to David Moore so he could get his reception cap.
Oh my God, that's sick.
Did you see Emmanuel Sanders when he caught his?
I love seeing that.
It was hilarious.
Yeah.
Marquez Callaway running up to him like this, like.
I find it so funny that the players know, like just that they know going into those games what they need to get like $250,000.
Did Leonard
like, crazy.
You had $500K, you know?
Yeah.
Leonard Floyd was
Wickham?
owed 1.25 mil if he got half a sack yesterday.
Got it.
And Shanner were talking about
He
that.
did get it?
He got
That's
it. He
That's
got it. Yeah.
crazy.
I think he got it in like the second quarter.
that's nuts.
So yeah, like,
Anyways, back to this game. I think I don't know what the spread is on this game right now, but I think it's going to be a
It's,
closer
8.
game.
It's 8.
8. That's not a terrible spread, but I think it's going to be a closer game than people anticipate. I think the the Washington football team match up. I think they match up well with the Bucks. I think, like Cam said, Brady, he doesn't have many kryptonites other than, the New York Giants, but one of them is, getting pressure in his face. And obviously Washington does that pretty well. And defensively, the Bucks are good. The Redskins, again, we'll see. Everyone on the Redskins has to have a day. Like, let's just put it that way. They have to have a day. But I think this is going to be a closer game than people anticipate, but I still do have the Bucks moving on.
We got to start acting like professionals. We got to remember that it's not the Redskins anymore.
Yeah, I know. We'll get canceled.
I'm going with Tampa also. I think like you guys were saying, Washington does have the pieces on defense to pull off the upset. I mean, anytime you have 5 first-round draft picks on D-line that have none of them are busts, you have a chance. But I don't know. Tom Brady in the playoffs is a very hard man to stop, and I think Tampa keeps rolling.
So I have my notes right here, and Dawson, like, you literally said exactly word for word, like, what I wrote down. Like, I wrote Tampa Bay to win, although I think it's going to be closer than most people think. Like I said before, having a good defense is one of the great ingredients to making a playoff run. Another ingredient is solid line play. If you can dominate the line, like, you're going to beat people up in the playoffs. I still have Tampa Bay to win, though. I think Tampa Bay's just a better team, but I wouldn't count Washington out just yet, because it seems like every time that Alex Smith plays, they don't look like a phenomenal team, but they somehow make
5-1 with
things happen.
Alex Smith starting.
Like, they make things happen, So we'll see. I mean, obviously, I would rather Washington win because I hate the Bucks and I hate Brady, but I just don't see it happening. Brady's been playing phenomenal this year. Anyways, so let's move on to
Sunday, baby.
Sunday, January 10th, 2021. We got the 5-seed Baltimore Ravens at the 4-seed Tennessee Titans at 105. I'm going to start this one. This might come as a surprise, but we'll see. I have Baltimore to come in and win on the road. I think, as crazy as this might sound, I think Baltimore is one of those teams that if they're playing right, like, they could beat anyone in the AFC. Like, you guys got to remember, like, almost the same team went 14-2 last year. Like, they can do it. And Lamar Jackson is playing at his Lamar Jackson that we saw last year, and they're going crazy on teams. They're putting up 40 points a game. Their defense is playing very well, and their run game is number 1 in the league. 2 ingredients to great playoff runs. And although I think the Titans are great on offense, I mean, they have the number 1 offense in the league, scoring-wise, I don't think their defense gets the job done against the Ravens. I thought whoever got drawn with the Ravens was going to be tough. I think the only team I wouldn't have taken the Ravens against in round 1 would have been the Bills. But, yeah, give me the Ravens to beat the Titans. I don't think the Titans are built for these playoffs. I mean, we said that last year, but Derrick Henry ran all over everyone. And that could happen again. You have a guy like Derrick Henry. He's going crazy, but I definitely have the Ravens to win this game. That's my prediction.
Yeah, I think it's going to be, like you said, it's going to be a shootout no matter how good Baltimore's defense is playing, just because that Tennessee offense is so good. Like, they're very deadly with Derrick Henry, with A.J. Brown, Tannehill, as much as I hate to say it, playing out of his mind. But, yeah, I think it is going to be a shootout, but when it does come down to it, Baltimore does have that better offense. That better defense, sorry. And I think their defense, the difference between the Tennessee defense and the Baltimore defense is bigger than the difference between the Tennessee offense and the Baltimore offense. So I think that's where it's going to really differentiate itself. I think it's going to be one of the closer games of the weekend. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if this was, a 60-plus point game. But, yeah, I have the Ravens to win as well.
I agree.
I'm taking Tennessee on this one, man. I think it's going to be a shootout, like you said. The only thing that scares me for Baltimore, and you guys both touched on it about how their defense is better, but it's Derrick Henry. Last year, Baltimore had the 5th best run defense, and they still couldn't stop Derrick Henry. He put up 195 on 30 carries. This year, they have the 8th best run defense. It's not that much of a difference. But anytime you have Derrick Henry, who went off for, 200-something yards yesterday?
250.
Yeah, 250. I mean, and Tannehill looks good, even, on those rollouts and everything. I don't know. I like how they match up, like Marlon Humphrey, A.J. Brown, and Marcus Peters and Corey Davis. But I just think they're gonna try so hard to focus on the run that they might, Tennessee might be able to, exploit their pass game on that one. So I'm gonna take Tennessee in a shootout.
I agree. I think it's going to be a shootout as well. I have Baltimore, though. Their D-line got better from last year. Obviously, they added Calais Campbell, who's been playing well. He got to that AFC Championship against the Pats a few years ago with Jacksonville, so I think he's hungry, wants a ring. And I think he brings, veteran presence, which they need. They needed it after last year. I think it's helped them a lot. They have Patrick Queen out there. He's a young guy. He's going to have to step up big time for them to win. But I think we talk about teams getting hot right before the playoffs. The Ravens, since they beat Cleveland in that shootout a few weeks ago, they've looked really good. And I think they're going to keep it rolling and beat Tennessee this weekend.
The Ravens have looked good, but they've also played some pretty dust teams the past few weeks.
That's true.
I think
confidence is big as well.
It is.
So,
Lamar also scares me in big games.
That's fair.
But also, what you're saying, they're playing dust teams, but they're still beating up on these teams.
100%.
So it's
100%.
not like you take anything away from them for doing that.
No, 100%. They're winning as we would expect them to.
Yeah.
No.
So we're gonna move on to the 4:40 game of Sunday, and that's the 7th seed Chicago Bears at the 2nd seed New Orleans Saints. I'll go first because it's my team. This isn't even really a bias. Chicago, out of those 3 teams of the Rams, the Bears, and the Cardinals, I wanted to play Chicago the most. I just think that New Orleans should absolutely win this game. They're the better team on both sides of the ball. But you never know what's going on with the Saints. They've broken my heart the last 3 years. But I've got the Saints to win. The spread's 10.5. I don't know if it's going to be that much. That's kind of crazy for a playoff game. But if the Saints play like they played all year, they're going to win this game. Yeah.
Go, Shane.
There's 14 teams in this playoff, and I think Chicago's the worst team.
I do too.
I think Drew Brees in the dome can cover that 9.5 easily. The Bears offense I know they scored 30 points 4 times out of the last 5 games, but I just don't see Mitch Trubisky going in against that defense. And when the Saints start adding up those points, I don't see Mitch Trubisky having the offense to keep going and keep scoring with them. So I would not be surprised if New Orleans covers that 9.5. I think Dawson talked about that blowout of the week. I think this game is going to be the blowout of the week.
I was just about to retract my blowout of the week and give it to this one. I think, like you said, Matt, this is probably the best matchup the Saints could have gotten, even of teams that didn't make the playoffs. I would have rather played the Bears than the Cards. I think this is ideal for you guys. So locking in Saints and to cover as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree. The Bears couldn't figure it out yesterday. That was obviously a huge game for them. They had to rely on the Cardinals to lose to get in. The Saints are gonna force turnovers. They're gonna hit Trubisky. It's gonna be ugly for him. I think they're gonna have a hard time figuring it out. Trubisky has struggled against good defenses in the last 2 years, significantly. So if even if Michael Thomas can't come back, Emmanuel Sanders looked good yesterday. Obviously, they're playing the Panthers. A little bit of a different defense, but regardless, I think if the Saints look like they have looked this year, then it should be an easy win.
All right, let's just not jinx it. Let's all knock on wood real quick because they lose to the Bears. I might have to quit being not just a Saints fan, but an NFL fan. let's move on to the primetime game and the last of the 6 Super Wildcard games. We have the 6th seed Cleveland Browns at the 3rd seed Pittsburgh Steelers. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. I don't know how this game ended up on the primetime game because I genuinely think, and the Steelers can be the 3 seed that whatever. I think these are the 2 worst teams in the playoff in the AFC, and they're somehow playing each other. So, did I take what you were going to say again?
Say.
Yeah, I genuinely think these 2 are going to be are the 2 worst teams in the AFC, and this is my first underdog pick of the day, but I'm taking the Browns. Steelers barely snuck out of Cleveland. Or no, sorry. The game was way closer than it fucking should have been with Mason Rudolph at quarterback. Like, fuck the scores, fuck everything. The game was way too close than it should have been. Mason Rudolph's a bum. I don't like his face. He has a bad haircut. And, yeah, that game was way too close yesterday, so I have the Browns coming in upsetting the Steelers.
I'm gonna go on the opposite end of that game being too close. Anytime they pull in within 2 points with Mason Rudolph and they almost tie the game at the end, I'm taking Pittsburgh.
I just realized what I said made no sense.
Yeah.
I also I did not forget that 38-7 loss that the Steelers put on the Browns in Week 6. I know the Browns got better since then, and I think the Steelers definitely got worse since then. But I'm taking the Pittsburgh Steelers at home with Big Ben and their full lineup back.
I'm gonna roll with the Browns, but first of all, Dawson, to call these teams worse than the Bears, I don't know. Listen,
No,
AFC.
AFC.
All right, fair enough. Well, you kind of just killed my little train of thought there. But I'm gonna
All right, no, they're the 2 worst teams in the playoffs. Go, let me hear it.
That's crazy. But anyways, I won't even touch on that. But I think I'm gonna take the Browns. I think they'll run the ball successfully. Their defense hasn't looked that good. I agree. Mason Rudolph sucks. Game should not have been that close at all. But I'm gonna take the Browns. I think they'll do it in Pittsburgh. It's not like the climate, not really a big difference for them. They're used to playing in the cold by now. Baker's confident as ever. I think they'll win. I like the Browns.
All right, so this is going to be our first game where we split up here. We go 2-2. So first thing I got to say, I could not care less about this game. I can't believe they put it at primetime. But that being said, I don't really care who wins because I'm going to be wasted regardless of the Saints winning or
Honestly,
losing.
I think it's primetime just because it's a divisional
Yeah.
matchup.
So I've got this is what I wrote. I wrote, to me, when it comes down to it, if they both play at their best, I think Cleveland edges out Pittsburgh. But what Cleveland has in talent, they lack in experience in the playoffs. And that's why I like Pittsburgh to win. But I don't like this matchup as I see them, like Dawson said, as the 2 worst teams in the AFC playoff run. And I see the winner of this game losing to whoever they play next week, regardless of who upsets who or who plays who. I think they lose to anyone in that AFC. But give me the Steelers to win a close, boring game.
Yeah, it's going to be a very boring game, I think.
Okay.
I mean, it was yesterday as well. So
Yeah, because
I don't
Mason
think we should
Rudolph
expect
was
anything
playing.
different. It's gonna be a dogfight
I
divisional
really don't like Mason
in the
Rudolph.
AFC North.
He has such a bad haircut.
Let me just say this. I think the Steelers are going to win. I hope the Browns win. Just for Browns fans, it's been shitty for them in the past few years.
I hate betting
a
against
lot
Baker.
of years. And I just think the Steelers have been a fake team the entire year. Don't get me started, but they have a really good defense, so I'll give that to them. All right, so let's move on to our new segment. It's actually kind of a little game. For our Instagram viewers, it's going to be our Instagram clip of the week because we actually got a couple props, just papers that we're going to lift up to show what our answers are. We haven't really discussed it. There's our test from Dawson. So yeah, basically the game is just called this or that. So I'm going to describe a situation, name 2 sides of a situation, I guess. And we all have papers with our answer to what we think is going to happen or what we think is the better answer for that situation. So just simply to start it off, basically Everyone was watching the college football playoff last weekend. Bama took care of business, and Ohio State shocked Clemson and smoked them.
Fuck Clemson. Fuck Trevor Lawrence. They cost me so much money on that weekend. I'm so upset.
I'm going to be honest. I was surprised.
Ugh.
I thought Clemson was going to win by 2+ scores, and Ohio State shocked them. I did text you guys the night before saying, does anyone get that little feeling that Ohio State might win, to be fair? I had a little feeling, but I definitely, if I was a betting man, would put money on Clemson every day of the week. I still think Clemson's a better team, but Ohio State played like superheroes. Like,
yeah.
Anyways, so basically our first this or that is who wins the national championship? Is it Alabama or is it Ohio State? Is everyone ready?
Yeah.
So let's go on 3. 1, 2, 3, lift.
And it's not even close.
All
I think
right.
this game is a blowout.
So
this is my blowout of the week.
Everyone listening on the podcast, everyone went with Bama. Let me start here. Okay. Ohio State looked really, really good and surprised me a lot. But to me, Alabama has been the best team in college football the entire year. Their defense scares me a little bit, just a little bit. But I think if anyone's going to shut down Olave, it's going to be Pat Surtain. Pat Surtain's probably going to be the first corner picked in the draft. Of course, I'm a Bama fan, so you could view this as bias. But anyone who's watched a Bama game just sees Mac Jones playing as good as any quarterback in college football right now, and they see Devontae Smith playing better than any college football player than anyone right now. I don't know who's going to cover Devontae Smith. You could say Sean Wade, but Sean Wade covered Powell and got busted, like broken in coverage the entire game. I don't know how the Ohio State defense is going to match up against Steve Sarkisian's offense, where they're moving Devontae Smith all over the field and crossing him all over the place, just getting him open. I think he's just virtually impossible to guard, especially in that offense. Give me Bama to win. It might not be a big win, might be very close, but I think Bama's going to gain back their national championship, and Nick Saban's going to set the record for most as a coach.
Yeah, I have the same pick for the exact same reasons too. Like you said, you can try to match Sean Wade up on Devontae Smith. I don't think he's fast enough to cover Devontae Smith. I think Devontae Smith is just better overall. And Bama might be getting Jalen Waddle back. I know he returned to practice today. Again, even if they just use him as a decoy, I think that's a huge piece for Bama too, because he is an insane receiver. But either way, Jalen Waddle or not, Mac Jones and the boys are going to take care of business and win the national championship.
Yeah, I agree with them winning. I think Ohio State has a chance, though. I would not completely rule out Ohio State. Like you said, they shocked us once. Who's to say they can't shock us again?
Fair enough.
Justin Fields looked outstanding in that game. He got hit to the ribs, and I thought for sure he was done. He came back on the next play, threw a touchdown pass, and could barely walk to the sidelines. Like, this guy gave everything he had in that game.
He pulled a Matt Stafford.
and as much as I want to say he could do it again, I don't think he can. But he did show that offense has the chance to compete with a Bama offense in a shootout. And that defense did get a lot of stops against Trevor Lawrence, who is by far a better quarterback than Mac Jones is.
Well, he's not been playing better quarterback play than Mac Jones
But
has.
he is by far a better quarterback than Mac Jones.
I'm not arguing with that. I'm just
so if they could stop
Mac Jones has been playing as good as
if they can stop Trevor Lawrence, they could stop Mac Jones. That's all I'm going to say.
And not for nothing, I just want to say Dabo Swinney ranked them as 11th, so I think they were playing with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder too. And
Well,
that gave them
anytime you're in the playoffs, you want to win. You don't just play just because you were ranked 11th.
Well,
No,
I'm just saying that they were like that was in their heads.
That was just that was just disrespect.
Well, I'm just saying, don't count them completely out, and don't count Fields out from putting up 50 points again. Because
Listen, I think anyone who's watched Ohio State the last 2 years under Ryan Day and says they're shocked by what happened on the weekend, take it with a grain of salt. I'm not shocked at all. Ryan Day's a great coach. Justin Fields threw 3 picks all last year. Obviously, he's been a little inconsistent this year. It was a weird year. Like, a lot of experts took Iowa to win in Big Ten, which is like just that. Like, you know something's going on. Justin Fields had a few games of greatness this year against some bad opponents. He looked less than average against good opponents like Northwestern. But listen, I think it's going to be a close game. I don't think Alabama's defense is gonna limit them to anything under 24 points. I think Ohio State's defense does look better. They look hungry. They haven't given up a lot of points this year, so we'll see. I think it's going to be close. I do think I love Justin Fields, so I'm a little bit passionate about this, but I think it's going to be a lot closer than people think. That's
all I want to add on to Cam's point is forget the two offenses. If I needed a stop from one defense in this game, I would choose Ohio State's defense to get the stop over Bama's defense.
This could very well be a who has the ball last kind of game, in my opinion.
I think it's going to come down to who makes the least amount of mistakes. And right now, Bama is not making a lot of mistakes. But we'll just move on. But before we move on, I just want to say shout out to that guy who put $1.3 million on Ohio State +7. That's insane. First of all, people thought Clemson was going to win by 2 touchdowns. I'm looking at when they just posted it, it was Bleacher Report betting. They posted some guy just made that bet, and you just see the comments flying in he must know something we don't. Everyone's saying that, and he cashed in unbelievably. Never a doubt either. That's I mean, I hope I get rich enough that I could bet 1.3 million on a game one day, but that's a little ridiculous in my opinion. But shout out to that guy. All right. So let's move on to our next this or that. And it's simply, who do you think is the better NBA player? Kyrie Irving or Damian Lillard? Let's raise on 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Dame Dollar. Yes, sir, Cam.
All right. So once again, we're 4 for 4.
Also, I'd just like to add before we move on, I know, Cam, you said it before, your handwriting is amazing.
Thanks, bro. I really appreciate it. I haven't written on paper in a year, but anyway.
I like Kyrie a lot, but like I said in previous podcasts, Damian Lillard is my guy, and I'm always gonna back him because he's always been an underdog. He's always been the guy that people just don't give the respect that he deserves. He's just like Devin Booker because he plays for a small town team. Obviously people are starting to give him some more respect. I have him as my MVP pick. But I'd rather have Lillard on my team. You could argue that Kyrie's a better ball handler. I wouldn't argue it. I would say it. But after that, I like Lillard as a scorer. I like Lillard as a leader. And I think I would rather have Lillard in my locker room than Kyrie Irving being iffy in the locker room, as proven before. But yeah, give me Dame Lillard in that one.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
Go, Shane.
Dame is a better leader. Dame's a better scorer. Dame's a better teammate, and Dame has done more for Portland than I think Kyrie has ever even thought of doing for our city. Kyrie wanted out of Cleveland because he didn't want to be Robin anymore. And then he went to a team where he could be Batman and didn't bring them anywhere. And now he's back to having some guy on his team that is better than him. Dame has never had a player better than him on his team. Dame has always been that guy, and he's proven that he's that guy, and he's proven that he can carry a bad team to the playoffs. And I just think Dame's a lot better than Kyrie Irving is.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to add to what you guys said, but I think we can all agree, and I don't know how to phrase this, but Damian Lillard just has it.
Mm-hmm.
He just has it. It's a combination of his swagger, his clutchness. It's just all of that. He just has it. And I don't know what it is, but
he's the
got
proven guy. He's the guy.
That shot over Paul George is a shot I will never forget.
No, but it's not even he's had 4 of those shots. You know what I mean? It's just every playoffs it's we're going to see a Dame game winner in game 7 probably.
Dame's just that year. Guy. Yeah, I agree. He's just that guy. And he's had opportunities to leave. He hasn't left. Took them to the Western Conference Final last year. I don't think it's even a question right now. Maybe if Kyrie sticks around in Brooklyn and gets that franchise turned around, but I like Dame right now for sure.
All right, so let's move on to our third this or that, and this is actually gonna be a good one. I'm wondering if it's gonna be 4 for 4 again, but um, basically it's who's gonna be the first running back taken in the NFL draft in 2021. It's Travis Etienne or Najee Harris. Let's lift on three. 1, 2, 3. All right, there we go. So now we're all on Najee except for Cam. Cam, I want to hear what you're thinking.
Listen, recency bias will tell you Najee's the better back. I think it's going to depend because, look, running backs aren't going to – none of these guys are going to go in the top 10, 15, 20 probably even. Might not even go in the first round. I think it's going to depend on needs. But Etienne, he's kind of like that CEH guy, like, or type of back. He's more well-rounded. He's had a great career at Clemson. He had that crazy streak of how many games with the touchdown in a row. He can catch the ball in the backfield. Najee's been doing that a little bit recently, but hasn't shown a lot of that in college. So I think Najee's going to go to a team that needs that might just be missing a running back.
I agree with Cam. I think the question was, who do we think the running back, who's going to be the first running back? That doesn't say that I think that Najee Harris is a better running back. I just think right now he's having a better year. And I think more teams right now are looking for a power back right now.
To be fair, I think Travis should have came out of college last year.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
He would have been off to a good career already. But
I agree. I just think that Najee right now is more of a power back, and anytime he could break runs that in the backfield, like he could break it for 15 yards after you think he's going to lose 5, right? But like Cam said, I think Travis Etienne can do it all. I think he's a better pass catcher. I think like Cam said, he's that Clyde Edwards-Helaire type of player. But I think like Etienne needs to be in the right offense. I think Najee can run no matter what offense he's in. So that's why I think Najee's going to be the first running back taken.
Yeah, my point was exactly like Shane. I think people are switching to that power back, kind of vibe.
Because of Henry.
Exactly. And you look at two guys rushed for 250 yards yesterday. I don't know if that's ever happened in NFL history, two guys rushing for 250 on the same day. But that was Jonathan Taylor, my boy, and Derrick Henry, two guys that are big dudes that can lower the shoulder. And I think I don't want to say Clyde Edwards-Helaire isn't a running back, but it's just almost a different position. Being able to come out of the backfield like he does, it's almost like he's not even shouldn't be described as the same position as Derrick Henry, just because their play style is so different. And I think just because of that, just because of the year Derrick Henry had, some team, like Cam said, that specifically needs a running back is going to go after Najee.
This isn't a part of the this or that, but Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I just want to say, I feel like he's got to be in a perfect situation to be successful, okay? If he has to be that guy who gets 30 touches a game,
no,
I don't think he would be as dominant. When he played for LSU, it's if you think about it, it's kind of the same offense that he's in with Kansas City, explosive, a team that will shock everyone. No matter what, you can't cover them. LSU is completely dominant was completely dominant, and Kansas City now is completely dominant. They both have the best. They both had the best quarterback and maybe receiving group in their respective leagues, and to me, I feel like Najee Harris can be that guy for a team where Travis Etienne needs to be put into a better situation. I think maybe this is bias. I think Najee Harris overall is a better running back. I think his vision is maybe the best I've seen out of an Alabama running back. It's unbelievable how he picks his holes for such a huge guy and how he breaks off for these runs. He's also super athletic. It's unbelievable. I don't know if you guys saw that hurdle. Oh my God. That was phenomenal. But Travis Etienne is faster and has better breakaway speed. I'll give him that. But first running back taken is usually a guy who goes to a good, already a playoff team, because usually you don't take except for Saquon, I can't really remember any running back that got taken in the top 15 or 20. Zeke, Zeke too. Yeah, fair enough. But he's that guy too. Maybe not as much this year, but he was. He led the league in.
Fournette and McCaffrey won the top 10 in the same draft.
Yeah, well, those are two of the best running backs in the league.
Well, you're saying you can't remember a running back on the top.
Fair enough.
That was 4 running backs right there.
Listen, I don't think personally, I think Travis Etienne's a lot better than Clyde. I don't think that comparison really needs to be made. I compared their styles a little bit. I think Clyde benefited from a great offense. I think he's still benefiting from a great offense. But I think Travis Etienne's that guy that can do a lot more for you. Kind of like that CMC role. Like, if he needs to do it out of the backfield, he'll do it for you. If you need him to chunk up some yards on the ground, he'll do that for you as well. So, yeah, I think he can do more for a more, electrifying offense, I guess. He's not going to be that 30 carry a game guy either. But I think he should definitely be in the conversation.
So just quickly, what teams do you think could take a shot on Etienne early? I'm not saying top 15 or whatever, but a team like Kansas City
right now.
I'm thinking Miami.
I'm thinking Miami.
Yeah.
Might take a guy like that.
Mm-hmm. But Miami's offense isn't even that explosive.
Yeah, but they
do need a back, 100%.
They need a back, and they need a top guy. Like Devontae Parker's good, but he's not that top.
I think you look at a team like Pittsburgh too.
Yeah.
I think they could take him.
I was just gonna say that. Pair him with Connor. I think that would be a good duo.
Yeah. And Connor's had injury issues, so I think if you could play them more 50-50 even.
Yeah. That wouldn't be bad, actually.
So, yeah, no, I just think, it's going to come down to who needs a running back and who thinks they're getting their guy at whatever spot they're choosing to take one of these guys.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we could go on about that all day, but let's go on to probably the funniest one. And I was just scrolling through my Twitter, and I saw this article of the funniest names in sports, and these two were both in the top 5. I honestly thought that these were the top 2, so I picked these two. But basically, this or that for this one is, who has the better name in football? Is it DeBrickashaw Ferguson or HaHa Clinton Dix? On 3, 1, 2, 3.
That's a brick.
Okay, we went 4 for 4 on this one, but
this one isn't even close.
Okay.
This one is not even close.
I think it's a little closer than
It's close. Honestly, I wanted to go with HaHa Clinton Dix, but that's not even his real name. So I was like, you know what? I gotta give it to the guy whose real name is actually that. So I went with DeBrickashaw.
Only reason why I went with DeBrickashaw is because it was the first crazy name I ever heard.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
It was also he was a first round pick. He went top 10. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he was good.
I'm making my Madden franchise in Madden 11.
I was right about to say.
Yes, sir.
He was my guy.
Fuck his back. Not for
You
now.
need line help, you get him. You go and sign him and you offer him. You turn salary cap off. You offer him max term.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Clinton Dix is funny too. I mean, I'm gonna go there. I mean, he has Dix in his name. That's funny too. I mean, his name's HaHa. You said it's not his real name. That's what people call him. That's what it's written. That's funny. These are both funny names, but HaHa, I can understand. I guess it's some kind of name, but DeBrickashaw is what?
Yeah, it's not even close for the exact same reason you said. Just the nostalgia of it, watching freaking NFL in 2012 with your grape Fanta and Doritos and left tackle or whoever it was, DeBrickashaw Ferguson. Come on.
Also, digging up my sports cards recently, I found his card in my pile of old NFL cards, and I was like, wow, I remember this guy. So yeah, a lot of nostalgia. Sick. His parents knew when they named him that he was playing in the NFL.
Yeah, he was going to the show, no doubt.
So,
all right. So if we're all in agreement there, we'll move on to our last this or that, and it's basically, I just picked the 2 worst teams in the NFL record-wise, and I just said, who do you think is the worst team? We got the New York Jets that ended at 2-14, or the Jacksonville Jaguars that ended at 1-15. So let's raise on 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, so it's 3-1 with all of us taking the Jags, except for Dawson taking the Jets. Dawson, let me know what you think.
Dawson's gonna back up the Colts losing Week 1 to the Jags right now.
No, I mean, I've seen the Jags have played the Colts twice, and I don't think they're bad. Don't get me wrong, they're brutal. But I just think the Jets are the worst team. I know both coaches got fired, but I think Adam Gase was the worst coach of the 2. I mean, you put a gun to my head and say, name a New York Jets wide receiver. I don't think I'd be able to. You put a gun to my head.
I can name 2, at least. Rashad Perriman was nasty, and and
Denzel Mims
Crowder.
and whatever.
Denzel Mims is really good. Braxton
Denzel Mims,
Berrios,
I don't know.
Crowder too. Like the receiving core is not that bad when you think about it. Like,
I don't know. Anyways, I just don't like the Jets. I think they're a very bad team.
let me jump in, okay?
Yeah,
So
go
I
crazy.
think that Jacksonville has an awful team. They they were in the conference championship
They
like
traded
a couple
everybody,
of years
yeah.
ago. You know, like they traded everyone away. I think whoever gets drafted is gonna be Trevor Lawrence. I don't care what anyone says. If they take Justin Fields, I would be shocked. But
If Urban Meyer gets that job, I would not be surprised if Justin Fields went
I
number one.
still would, man. Like Trevor Lawrence is that guy. Like he's the prospect. Like
And he's been that for 3 years. Like,
bro, like he didn't even play a college football game, and people are saying he's gonna be the number one pick easily.
that's it.
Like
It's as if the Colts would have taken RG3. Like, it just wasn't going to happen.
I actually
Never
think-
forget when Justin Fields beat Trevor Lawrence for Elite 11 Finals MVP.
Facts.
But anyways,
Never forget when Justin Fields' team destroyed Trevor Lawrence's team Friday.
I'm still taking Trevor Lawrence.
last year it was the opposite, right? And Trevor Lawrence looked
He
like
didn't destroy them. They won
I
by
know, but
6.
Trevor Lawrence played like a superhero. He was the player of the game and was not even close. But anyways, I think the Jets actually have a decent view ahead of them. Okay, I thought they were incredibly poorly managed, but this I might get some lashback here. But I think that Sam Darnold is unfairly treated.
I do too.
I think he's actually good, man. But if I were them, I would keep Darnold unless you could get a solid first-round pick for him, because I think they could if they take Penny Sewell and then they get a top like star receiver, I think like things could start to change.
If you were a star receiver, would you want to play for the Jets? Would you want to, if they offered you a contract, would you say, yeah, I'm going to the Jets?
It depends what the situation is.
I mean,
The
if you ask,
situation is they were coming off 2-14, and they're throwing money at you, and you have other offers from other teams that can win the Super Bowl, are you going to the 2-14?
but like it's like the Dolphins' defense last year. Like, how did they get Byron Jones? How did they get they got some big name dudes after one of their worst seasons ever?
Dolphins weren't that bad last year. They won 5 games, I think.
I saw like rumors that Allen Robinson was thinking about going to the Jets. That would be kind of crazy because he's elite. But if they could get a star tackle and a star receiver, I think like things could change hard. I wouldn't be surprised if they ended up taking Fields and trading away Darnold. I don't know what's the better move, to be honest. I wouldn't give an opinion on that, but I think that Jacksonville is a whole lot worse set up than the Jets are. Also, it's New York, right? Like if you're saying like, I don't like you wouldn't want to go to the Jets, like it is New York. Like a lot of people go for destination as well, right?
You know what I'm saying? If you have a lot of people also go to win a ring. If a team offers you the money,
people also go for money too.
No, but if they offered just a bit less for a Super Bowl team or to go to the 2-14 Jets, where are you going?
It depends what I've already done, but probably a Super Bowl team. But that's not
I'm not saying a player is not going to go there. I'm just saying I don't think it's an attractive option.
I think it's more. That's not the question. It's who's worse.
I think it's going to depend who they hire as a head coach, and that's the thing too with Jacksonville is Jacksonville just fired their head coach and they fired their GM a few weeks ago. No one knows what's going on over there. No one okay, they're going to take Trevor Lawrence, and then what? Like that's the most attractive thing about that job for a GM. Head coach, I'm not sure. I like Miles Jack a lot. You're working with a running back who's undrafted, who's hungry as hell.
That's the thing. I like the Jags offense. Like, I like their receivers. I like Chark. I like Chanel. I like James Robinson.
D.D. Westbrook had better numbers than Devontae Smith did through the same amount of games
and
before last week. So like D.D. Westbrook has the potential. DJ Chark looks good. I still think the Jags are worse though. That defense is in like a hole right now that it's gonna be hard to get out of. So
I know I chose the Jets, but also have to remember the Jets were probably missing their best defensive player this year because Mosley opted out.
Yeah,
that's huge too. Like, that's your middle linebacker, that's your team captain, that's probably your highest paid guy. Like, that's pretty big too.
I agree. I took Jacksonville also as the worst team. I think honestly, I don't think the teams are that far apart, but it comes down to like the quarterback position, and Darnold is definitely better than Gardner Minshew. But back to the Darnold thing, I said when he was at USC he was not going to be the savior that everyone thought he was going to be. He is a good quarterback. Don't get me wrong. He can make throws that not a lot of quarterbacks can. But I don't think he'll ever be an elite quarterback.
Yeah, I think he's a good quarterback. He's just not like a good game general. Like
Yeah, I think people need to like relax with the like he's suffered through bad coaching and all this. Like he's not going to be that guy that like wins you a ring single-handedly. Like he's going to need a lot of help. I don't think he's bad at all by any means, but I don't think he's like that. Like look what Herbert did with the Chargers. Obviously he had Keenan, but like that's what that's what future elite quarterbacks look like with shitty teams, and then that's when you start building around them. But Sam Darnold has not been anything special so far.
Quickly before we move on, would you guys pick Justin Fields if you were Jacksonville, or would you pick Trevor Lawrence?
Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence, without a doubt.
Okay, cool, thanks. Okay, just making sure. I can't stand people are saying, could it be? I would take him over him, like, after one game. Like, oh, okay. Anyways, let's move on. All right? That's it for this or that. Stay tuned. Might do it again next week. This is going to be our bold prediction of the week each. Does anyone have a spicy one they want to go first?
I don't know.
Trainer, you always have a little spicy.
Yeah, I have the spicy ones, but they never hit. Look, this one, I don't think it's that spicy this week. We're going back to what we were talking about in Washington, getting pressure on Brady. Brady's been sacked only 21 times this year and never more than 3 times in a game. I think Washington puts up 5+ sacks this week. Like I said, they got all those first-round picks. Chase Young's a beast. And the guys up the middle, too, they're getting sacks consistently, and I see them getting at least 5 on Brady.
All right, my bold prediction of the week doesn't have to do with the NFL playoffs, and it's probably going to be wrong. I just have this gut feeling that James Harden is going to be traded this week. I don't know where.
Wow.
I don't know where. I don't know to who. I don't know for what. But my bold prediction is James Harden gets traded this week.
Wow. Okay. I'm going back to the NFL.
Yeah.
Just back to Titans and Ravens being a shootout. I think Lamar's going to have 5 total touchdowns. Yeah, I don't know. He's been playing well. He's impressing me. Now that COVID's behind them, I think they're back on track, and I think Lamar's gonna light it up and really prove to people that he can win a big game.
So mine's the same game, same guy, except I got Lamar Jackson to rush for 125 plus and 2 Sixers.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's bold.
That's bold.
He's gonna go off. I'm ready for it.
I think so too.
We'll see, man. We need him to be we need him to start showing something in big games, and this is a big one on the road. But anyways, let's move on to our question of the week in the NFL. Well, it's not the NFL; it's just football. But if you had offers across the board, what would be your dream school to play football in college? And you can't say your favorite team. So I can't say Alabama, Shane can't say Florida, Cam can't say OU, and I don't know what your favorite.
Washington, baby.
Oh, yeah, Washington. Dawson cannot say Washington.
I would never pick Washington.
No chance.
I wouldn't either.
All right. I struggled with this one a little bit. I wanted to go with like Michigan. I've always loved Michigan since I was a kid. I don't know what it is. I love the uniforms. I love the Jordan brand. I think they have great facilities as well. And then I thought about Ohio State, just a culture program, but ultimately I went with Oregon. The CEO of Nike went to he's from Portland. Nike headquarters is there. Obviously, they have 100-something uniform combinations, so I think that's super appealing. Autzen Stadium is sick. Yeah, I don't know. To me, just history, great offenses, entertaining teams to watch. Good coaching. So, yeah, Oregon's my pick.
Okay, so in this scenario, am I an NFL prospect or am I just a college guy?
You're going to be a starter where you go. You're going to be a starter. Let's say you're going to be a starting player at your position.
No, I know, but am I going to the show or not? Because
you're going to the show. You're going.
Okay, so the University of Hawaii is out of the question then. That was my pick simply to be in Hawaii. But my pick, taking everything into consideration, not just football but location. Fuck, this is tough. I think I would go to UCLA. Nice jerseys, nice location.
Played the Rose Bowl.
Not a bad, not a pretty bad team, but not a terrible team. Yeah, UCLA.
Shannon, you
I
go.
was see for this one I was debating too. I was debating Florida State because that was the partier side of me. But now you said I was going to the show, so I'm gonna completely eliminate the Florida State one
Well, if
because
you want to be a party, you can be a party, man.
they're trash. But ultimately, I went with the team that I grew up watching my whole life was Notre Dame. My dad's a huge Notre Dame guy, so I grew up watching them every Saturday. Like as much as we say, like some people say they didn't deserve to be in the playoffs, they always have a good team. They're always in that conversation, and I feel like they have one of the biggest fan bases in like all of college football, right? If not the biggest. So I always thought it would be cool to play at that stadium, and yeah, I'm gonna ride with Notre Dame on this one.
That was my second choice.
So I wish I could say Alabama because one of my main reasons would be that if I want to go to a place that like really like lets out good receivers, right? And if I'm going to be a starting receiver, I'd want to go to a team that is known for having good receivers. So I would go to Alabama in that case. But I had 3 different choices for 3 different reasons. Like you, I would say I would go to California, Dawson, but I would go to USC. I like USC better than UCLA. I don't know why. I don't know what it is, but I've always liked the Trojans better. I was actually thinking about, remember, like Shane, I was actually thinking about putting UCLA or USC in this or that. But I said, if I want to go to a beautiful situation, go to a great school and like a great, like weather-wise, a great stadium, all that stuff, I'd go to USC. If I wanted to go in there and win a title, I would go to Clemson. And I hate Clemson. I hate Ohio State, but it'd have to be like one of those 2 teams, because they're always there. Like they're always in the playoff. They're always challenging for their conference championship, And you're going to like this, Cam. And I hate Oklahoma, but I would want to go play for a great offense.
Why do you hate 3 of the best college football programs?
Who wouldn't want to get the ball thrown to by Spencer Rattler right now? The guy's going to be a Heisman winner the next 2 years. He's going to be at least there. Guy played phenomenal. I mean, their whole situation is phenomenal. You must be so excited for next year.
Lincoln Riley's a guru, man.
Yeah.
I love that guy since his first year with Baker. Still love him. He's doing great things.
But not for nothing, I'll just say USC because that's a dope school. Anyways, so we're going to move on to our final segment of the week. We always end off with this, and last week we did phenomenal. And it is our lock of the week in terms of betting. I'm 2 for 2 in the last 2 weeks. I had Alvin Kamara anytime touchdown score on Christmas. He got 6. I got Derrick Henry anytime touchdown score. I think he scored twice or 3 times. Was it twice or 3 times? And he ran for 250. So that was good. I forget what your guys' locks were.
I had my lock was the upset of 49ers over Cardinals.
Right.
And then last week I messed up. It was the TY.
No, that was not your lock. That was your bold prediction. Your lock was
I don't know.
Your lock was the Giants over the Cowboys.
Which I hit.
There you go.
So I'm 2 for 2 too.
My lock was the Browns money line. I don't remember what it was before that, but I probably didn't hit.
I'm 2 for 2 also. I had Kamara 2 times and Bills with the spread, which obviously they won by a lot. So
yeah.
Okay, so my lock of the week in terms of betting, I'm going back to my team and going back to my guy, Alvin Kamara. Anytime touchdown score, I'm going to keep going with these until the season's done. Alvin Kamara tested positive. He's going to be pissed he didn't get to play. Just assuming that everyone tests negative before the game. I have him scoring anytime. If he doesn't play for the craziest reason, my heart will be broken. And in that case, I would change it to Lamar Jackson. Anytime touchdown scorer.
All right, so apparently I am 2 for 2. My lock was Christmas Day, the Clippers -1.
Hey,
So I'm gonna try and make it 3 for 3, and I'm gonna take it the Titans +3.5.
Wow, that's a
Whoa.
lot.
That is a lock.
You're making money?
Yes, sir.
All right.
So my lock of the week, same game as Shane. Right now the over-under for the Ravens-Titans is 54.5. I am taking the over in that game. I think it's going to be a 30-pointer each.
I like it. I'm gonna take praying for 3 for 3 here, but let's go Saints with the spread. If it's -9.5, 10.5, whatever it ends up settling at, I'll take it. I like the Saints this week. I do not like the Browns. They looked horrible yesterday. So yeah, and the Saints look good. Kamara's gonna be back. They'll have Latavius Murray, that little 1-2 punch. Yeah, I don't think the Bears can stop them.
Well, that does it for episode 4 of the Nothing But Controversy podcast. All in all, go Saints, go Colts, screw the Washington football team.
The Eagles don't belong in the NFL anymore.
And follow us on Instagram.
Yeah, follow us on Instagram at Nothing But Controversy. If you want to see, we're going to be posting the this or that. You're going to see our papers. You're going to see our reactions, all that stuff. Nothing But Controversy on Instagram. If you want to follow us, all of our usernames are there too. But yeah, take it easy. We'll get back to it next week. And have a wonderful week.
And share this podcast, and Shane will send you a personalized thank you message.
Yep.